Good evening and welcome to Sports Flash, where we get you up to date on the happenings and misfires in the Pigskin Prognosticators Fantasy Football League. I'm your host, Dash Handsome, and as always, I'm joined by someone who didn't quite make the cut for your typical substandard libations commercial, so of course, we hired him. It's Sir Wins-A-Lot.
Actually, it's Sir Wins-A-Lot. I made the ghastly mistake of staring directly at the sun when I was just a squire and did some terrible damage to my retinas.
Oh, that sounds pretty painful, Wincy.
It's like anything else. You suck it up and get used to it. What do you say we take a look and see which of our little piggies got skewered this weekend?
That sounds like a plan to me. Mike's Rad team defeated the Kung Fu Panda for their third straight victory in a 115-73 route, putting them in the driver's seat of the Sleeping at Work division while sending the Pandas into a meteoric slide into mediocrity?
Team number 15 outperforms Premonitions and crushes Jamie Williams' team in a 98-68 debacle, bringing both teams to 500 for the autumn equinox.
Mahomes smirks at expectations, surpassing their 103-point projections by 24 as they thump No Country for Old Men 127-116 and place themselves firmly in first place in the league.
This week's Battle of Derelicts starred the Dak Attack as they succumbed to the Riflemen in a 95-62 vanquishing.
And finishing off a very forgettable week 4, Richard's team was overthrown by the Big Dogs 54-51. Well, we've reached the end of the first quarter of our season, so let's take a look at our overall standing.
Mahomes seemed to be leading the charge, followed closely the Riflemen and Mike's Rad team. Then there's a bunch of plebs that are trying to make a name for themselves with 2 wins and 2 losses, before we get to the real peasants barely hanging on to their soon-to-be pillaged huts at 1 and 3.
And there you have it, Trogdor, pillaged huts, and all.
If that dragon man shows his face around here, I will smite him with the sword of undying light and send him back to the depths from whence he came.
Okay, while Wincy resheathes his little sticker, let's take a look at this week's matchups. No Country for Old Men is a 3-point underdog to Mike's Rad team as they try and keep their playoff hopes from dying in week 5.
If you speak truly about this dragon, I will slay him and all who stand in my way.
Let's cool it, Beowulf. The Riflemen are 5-point favorites over Jamie Williams' team, and Richard's team is giving up 43 against the Andy Reid-fueled powerhouse that is Mahomes.
Sorry, I just get so worked up about that dragon, I can't help it.
Just, please, put down the sword.
The Big Dogs are 16-point front runners against the Dak Attack, and in this week's
Pigskin Prognosticators Fantasy Football Free-For-All.
You're kind of stepping on my lines here, Sir Wins-A-Lot.
Sorry, I just got so fired up about that dragon.
It's the new old deacon and the old young pastor locking horns when the Kung Fu Pandas take on team number 15 in a game that odds makers are already believing it's too close to call. One of these teams is going to end up joining the ranks at the top of the class, while the other is going to have to settle for fighting through the loser's bracket.
Dash, it's been a pleasure working with you this eve. I desire to try it again soon.
You know what, Wincy, you're not so bad yourself. I wouldn't mind you sitting in with us next week when we bring you guys all the action from week 5.
I heard you, you fire-breathing abomination. You're mine.